My sculptures give hope, give life, and I love the expression on people's face when they see it. So I love to see them smile when they look at my work, and that also gives me joy. And that makes me to know that the purpose which I am being created for is being fulfilled. My name is Dotun Popoola. I'm a contemporary Nigerian artist based in Osun State, in Ile-Ife. And this is where I create my works. I do my works with discarded materials from automobile parts, kitchen utensils, and different ferrous and non-ferrous materials. I create works that ranges from human figures and animals, creating a zoomorphic representation. And also, I try to use my work to document the history of Africa, to save our culture, our tradition, our costume, our nation, and our nature. So my works my body of works protest the issue of waste and, re-engineering and saving the ecosystem. I finished as a sculptor and I had my master's degree in painting. Then at that moment I was frustrated and I was destabilized. I felt there's need for me to explore and to change my narrative. So that took me to looking for scrap materials. But in 2015, I traveled for a residency training and where I went to learn how to weld with MIG welder and TIG welder in the countryside, United States. So after coming back to Nigeria, I started going to different scrap yards to pick up different scraps, including my dad's workshop. My dad is a mechanic, and he was able to get me a lot of scraps that I used to create body of works, and that's how the journey started from. I have been working with recycled materials for the past 7 years, and I enjoy doing it almost every day. My first piece from recycled material is a rooster. The rooster was made out of spark plugs and different kitchen utensils. But the work that first trended was that dog. But the work that brought me to limelight was my dog, the Babu at the Legend Hotel. My workshop is very big, it's about 40 feet by 40 feet studio, painted all white so that I can see the different scraps that I have here in my studio. Well lit, The atmosphere is so calm, it's far from distraction, just a little bit far from the major city. The only sound I hear is the sound of the birds and the sound of my dog. And that gives me the room to concentrate on my work. Well, the first thing I do when I'm starting a sculpture is that I do critical anatomy study of the subject matter. Take that to my drawing. I will do drawings, different drawings to study forms and shapes that I need to explore. And after that, I create, sometimes I create clay modeling of like a miniature piece of whatever subject matter I want to create before going to the junkyard to pick up my scrap. I pick up my scraps with my color sense. I go to the scrap yard with, my color palette. For instance, I could pick red tanks, I could pick blue tanks, I could pick pink tanks. So when I bring them together into my studio, I bring out my color sense to assemble them together and, creating a palette of scraps. The rust scraps, I would separate them. The the shiny part scraps, I put them aside. So I study all the materials together, then I weld them. So it's more like starting from drawing, studying of anatomy, creating a miniature piece before assembling the main scrap piles. My curiosity to learn, my curiosity to explore different form of art took me from my painting studio to my sculpture studio. Although I still paint, and if you look at my works critically, you would see a fuse of painting in my sculptures. In a way, art doesn't have much differences. You have to just express yourself the way you feel. So my painting has really helped my sculpture. So in totality, I didn't really leave painting. I only use it to enhance my sculpture, and I really enjoy doing that. My kind of art is classified as synergetic metal sculptures because, I combine different materials together, ferrous and non-ferrous material. I try to create an hybrid series of, animals and human beings, fuse them together. I create zoomorphic representations, fusing icons and symbols together. So the word synergetic means, bringing things together to form one idea. So it's been more like exploring cultural hybridity in material, using different materials to explore cultural hybridity. Creating an artwork depends on the size, the magnitude, and the concept. But on a minimal, it will take me like 4 months to create a small piece and maybe like 2 years to create a larger piece. So it depends on the magnitude, the size. Sometimes I paint my sculptures just to accentuate the color, and at the same time I apply colors on some part of the scraps to give a kind of harmony, or to blend the established scraps with the rust. And when I'm done with my work, I apply anti-rust on them to give them a long-lasting texture. Well, one of the things that inspired the body of work that I create is the fact that I want to create works for posterity. I want to create works that will document and protect my culture. I want to save the environment. I want to save the ecosystem. So, in one word, I would say the nation and nature inspires my works. So if you look at my body of works, you would see that some of them have cultural themes. Some of them, I use them to save the lost Yoruba dialect, Yoruba symbols, costumes, and icons, So it's more like saving the lost tradition and culture and keeping it for the next generation to enjoy. So the nation and the nature really inspires me to create my works. A lot of people see my work as luxury. Some sees it as something not affordable. Some feel, oh, this is out of the world, out of this world, excellent piece. This is never done by an African, it's probably done by a Western person. So a lot of people see my work as something that gives them joy, that brings great energy to them. I've never seen anyone that sees it as just mere scrap. Rather, they see it as luxury, like something that should be in the palace, something that should be in the museum. So I have seen a lot of positive response about my work, and it gives me joy to see people's reaction towards me and towards my sculptures. The junk, the scraps, the discarded material, they're like my tool. They're like my tool of the trade. They're like my voice. They give me the opportunity to give a message of hope. I use them just like the big book to tell the story of my life, of my art, of my community. I use them to tell the story of pain and prosperity. I use them to tell a story of trash to treasure. I use them to tell a story of hope from hopeless situation. And I use them to tell a story of my own ancestors.